welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please take a moment to leave a comment. Thank you.
I've been trying for several years to end up getting this knife here. It's a Horsehead Puukko. It's one of those knives that's been on my bucket list forever. In this case, it's the 6.5-inch version, which is known as the women's knife. The 8-inch version is known as the men's knife. In any case, this is what it looks like. And from what I understand, this is one of the later made ones, and you can tell that by the lack of definition in the horse's head. Earlier ones had a little more definition in the horse's head. The handle is, I believe, birch that's been covered with a piece of leather, and then you've got the metal cap here, and then obviously the horsehead pommel. It has a hidden tang, little rat tail tang that goes all the way back through and attaches to the horsehead pommel here. And you see this, I believe this is a leather wrapping around the birch. And then you have little spacers here, the red and yellow spacers. And we have the blade here with a wonderful deep fuller. And it's just etched here, Kahava, I believe. I'm not sure how that's actually pronounced. Kauhava, which is the major knife making center in Finland. And like I mentioned, it's 6.5 inches long, if we can see here. Get that horse head there. 6.5 inches with a about a 3¼ inch blade with a 3-inch cutting edge. So a 3¼ inch handle also, obviously. And just really a nice little knife. And about the same size as your bird trout knife that you find here in America. And we see here a nice little bird trout, which also comes in at right around 6¼ or 6.5 inches. And the only major difference between the two is the American-made bird trout has a little bit of a guard, so your hand doesn't slip up on the blade. But so often with a bird trout knife, you're cutting things like such and everything. So it's almost like a kitchen pruning knife as well as a little hunting knife. And really just a cool little knife. And what's really cool about it also is the type of sheath that it has. You've got this scabbard that is made out of leather, nicely embossed. And it's got a wood insert, I believe also a birch wood insert. And notice how nicely stitched this is here. And then you've got the end cap for the sheath with nice engraving on there. And this is one of the cheaper ones actually, so that's why it doesn't have a actual name brand on it. But even with the less expensive ones, really nice work and nice detail on it. And you've got this little hook here, which can go through like a buttonhole on your clothing or around a small belt or anything, and you can actually loosen that up so you can slip it on anywhere or pass it through a buttonhole and then hook it right back in place so you won't lose your knife. And the knife goes into the sheath nice and well and nice and snug, so it's not going to fall out or anything. So just a really cool thing. It's one of those knives that looks great in the sheath or outside of the sheath. And that's really what attracted me to the Horsehead Puukko. I've got the women's knife. Now the other knife on my bucket list is an 8-inch Puukko, or the men's Puukko. Okay, let me conclude with just a quick slideshow of the knife, giving the specifications and some close-up photos of various portions of it.
I think one of the funnier questions I have asked of me is, why is this knife called a Puukko? And the answer is really quite simple. Puukko is the Finnish word for knife, specifically a knife that goes into a sheath. So it's basically what the people in Finland call a fixed blade knife, and that's why it's called a Puukko. And here's a close-up of the horsehead pommel. Notice the lack of definition in it, which means that it is one of the later ones. And as you can also tell, I have not really done much to clean it up yet. And you see here where the blade has been engraved Kauhava, and this tends to vary from knife to knife because it was basically done with just a jeweler's tool. And finally, a look at the little chain and clasp that allows you to dangle this knife off of a buttonhole or a belt or just about anywhere. And there you have it, the Finnish Puukko, one of the knives on my bucket list of knives that I just had to have. About the same size as your typical American bird and trout knife. Very happy to have it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Knife Chats, and if you did, please like and share it with your friends. Comments are always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.